If y'all didn't see it, I dropped the 2 get things into a Word document because I've probably ruined 50 gets by pulling one out and then scribbling all over it.
Taylor, do you mind sharing that in the chat box with me so I can see it?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Can somebody patch Will in? He just called me from another chat, so I think
I just pinged him.
There it is. I'm emailing you, Disha. Maybe it has too many images in it. It's failing to upload.
Just so everyone knows, the document that Taylor uploaded is just guidepost 1B and then 4C from the Get rubric, which I put a fresh copy in all of y'all's desks, so you have a hard copy when you get to school tomorrow. I'm sorry.
And before we start, we made one modification. Obviously, the kids don't have goals right now. They don't know their goals. But what we're investing them in is engaging in class. So if a student is called on, are they participating? Are they on Pear Deck? So that's where we're looking to get 80%. Sorry to interrupt, Maggie.
And these are 2 of the 4 rows we're reading people in this Thursday. So this can help with some of our norms. Similar to last Thursday, I think it helps when we actually look at the columns to figure out what makes someone proficient, novice, and advanced. So I'm just going to assign everyone one part for one of the things. So Bethany, I'm going to assign you novice for 1B. Riley, proficient for 1B. Will, advance for 1B. And then Sarah for 4C. Actually, I don't think it's 4C. Sorry, hold on. For 3D, sorry, Sarah. I'm going to assign you novice, Matt, you proficient, and then Taylor, you advanced. So go ahead and take a minute to read over and then be ready to summarize in 2 to 3 sentences. Got a minute left. Okay, so starting with 1B, just to stamp what Taylor said, we're not talking about goals. Our goal is student engagement, right? So, like, what is the teacher doing to hit the goal of 100% active student engagement? So, Bethany, what does it look like to be novice there?
Just essentially, I would say the keyword is inconsistency. It's less than 80% of the time ensuring that students are engaged. And when you are giving feedback, it's broad and really general feedback instead of specifics.
Riley, what does it look like to be proficient?
80% of students are engaged, or whether that's coming off of mute or being logged into Pear Deck, and you celebrate students specifically but periodically.
And Will, for advanced.
90% of students are engaged, and that celebration is specific and meaningful.
Thank you. Let's move to 3D, which we're not evaluating people's lesson plans, which this is mostly about, but we'll be able to see evidence of this if they when they're executing. So this will depend on when we enter their class, which part we're able to actually focus on. Sarah, I think you put you as novice, right?
So for novice, like one evidence that they would be novice is they're not really asking questions, or they're very low level questions. And when students are practicing, there's no like gradual release for students to practice independently.
Math proficiency.
They frame the lesson efficiently. They have a gradual release with multiple at bats, and then there are data points, 2 to 3 data points that the teacher's looking at.
And Taylor for advanced.
What moves it to advanced is either activating prior knowledge, real world, or a hook. 2 of 3 instead of 1 of 3. There's 90% engagement instead of 80. And most of the lesson is on student practice.
Great. I know that feedback last time was that we were not prepared to know who we were seeing. So I'm just going to share this my screen really fast to show you how I've planned it out. We can change it. So here's instructional rounds. We're doing this from 9 to 10:30. I put it in 15-minute blocks. I went through the schedules and figured out who is teaching when, essentially. The first block is the hardest because we're kind of coming at the end of class, so we may or may not be able to see effective instruction. We'll see. And you can kind of go down the line. I highlighted who I thought we should go see. So it'd be nice if we could try to see Jay. Potentially, maybe we can see Hakimi or a video of Hakil or Hendrick. Hakil, I can combine them. Khalil or Hendricks. Como, Marin, Trevino, Segura. And then you'll see down here I have culture rounds with different people. So hopefully it's different. It's a variety. Any objections to this?
We should do Khalil if we can during that or block.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Matt, can you?
The only thing I'll say about that is his lesson on Friday was showing the video of me teaching, so it's not going to be very informative.
Yeah, scratch that. We'll get there when we get there.
Matt or Sarah, can you guys add us into 8th grade? Taylor, what time do you want to come back?
Do we Blue Jeans link?
Oh yeah, we need a Blue Jeans link too, Taylor.
So let's go into class, and then I'll open the Blue Jeans link and let y'all get there, and then let's do 9:14.
9:14. Okay.
Okay, guys, so I'm just going to go over the guided questions really quick just to get a recap. The x-axis is going to be the independent variable. That is, goes on the x-axis. So when looking at the experiment and graphing, you put on the x-axis the independent variable. Number 2 is what variable goes on the y-axis. That is the dependent variable, the one that depends on the independent variable, the effect. In my own words, it's correlating, so the relationship between two sets of data or what a scatter plot is going to be. The difference between a line and a scatter plot is that they don't connect the dots. Those is going to be more of a general idea of what slope that's going to be on the scatter plot. The line plot is where it's going to be a little more of a time base connecting those dots. What is the why is scatter plots important? They're important because, again, they build the relationships between the variables, so the cause and the effect. So a lot of times looking at these graphs, you're able to see the title. Those titles are very important because it's going to be mainly, again, what the title of that story is going to be of your experiment or whatever you're testing. So I'm going to go read the key points as well. So graphs, again, are used to represent data in science. They're used to tell that story that you're trying to tell about your experiments, about whatever you've observed, about any things that you've tested. Independent variable is the x-axis. The dependent variable is the y-axis. So again, just like an experimental investigation, for every input, there is an output. So whatever test as well, hypothesis, there's an answer. We're going to do this one together. This would be a we do. So as I look at this, I'm going to look at the question and say, what variable is being manipulated on the graph? Automatically, maybe I don't know what manipulated is. I look it up, use Google, I see that it says control or handled. So I reword that question and saying, what variable is being controlled or handled on the graph? So what variable is being controlled? As I look at it, handled, the time is there, the plant growth is what's controlled. I would say the plant growth is what is controlled because it is the dependent variable being controlled and depending on what the independent variable does. So depending on the time is going to be the plant growth. That depends on the time. That's going to be what's controlled here. So that is what how I would look at these as a we do. Breaking down, again, the sentences and words that may or may not know on top of using that as our graph to tell that story and showing what is controlled, just looking at the graph, knowing what is the y and the x-axis. So I'm going to go ahead and do one more. What can you conclude about the relationship between plant growth, time, and the type of soil? So as I look at this here, plant growth is on my y-axis, time is going to be on my x-axis, so it's the end of
Just waiting on Matt. Matt, if you're here, turn on your video for us.
I'm here.
Cool. All right. A suggestion Disha gave us last time, I thought was super helpful, is we'll shoot our ratings on 3. So before we do that, it'd be like 1, 2, 3, and we would show where we believe Jay landed on 1B. Now, just to be clear, pre-novice is 1, novice is 2, proficient is 3, advanced is 4, and exceptional is 5. And again, this is a 5-minute snapshot. So take about 15 seconds. Go ahead, Maggie. You're about to say something.
Can Matt tell us how many people are had responded and or in Pear Deck for us to gauge better rate?
Thank you. Yeah, because we didn't see that much participation. Yeah, Matt, can you give us Pear Deck numbers?
Yeah, so it said there was 101 participants. Some of that was us. So I'm assuming there's about 95, 96 kids in Pear Deck, or excuse me, on Teams. He had 94 in Pear Deck, and he had, on the last question, 84 out of 94 students respond.
Thank you, Matt.
So let's actually take about 45 seconds then to rate. That's really helpful information. Thanks, Matt. All right. Just on 3, show where you would rate Jay for 1B. 1, 2, 3.
Which one is 1 again? Is that novice or pre-novice or?
Oh, I'm sorry. I screwed myself up. You're exactly right, sir.
It's novice, correct?
No, my fault. Thank you for asking that question. Pre-novice is 1, novice is 2, proficient is 3, advanced is 4, 5 is exceptional. Thank you for asking that. One more time, let's shoot. 1, 2, 3. All right. Will, I'm going to have you come off of mute. I couldn't tell. At first, I think it was a 3. I'm not sure if it's still a 3, but talk to us about your rating.
I think I was looking specifically at the numbers. There weren't really any specific examples of like calling kids out or anything like that, but just looking at the numbers, it was close to like 90% of kids that were engaged. And I just went off that number really.
Gotcha. Matt, you rated him novice. Tell us why.
I think that he has like a student accountability, but I don't know if he's actually built that and used strategies to build that consistently. But I think that, and then he isn't celebrating student success.
Got it. And then Sarah.
Mine is same as Matt about celebrating successes, and I don't know, I just couldn't see the motivation or like any kind of positive narration.
Got it. So a couple of things here. I just want to norm on this. We can't make assumptions about what he is going to do. We didn't see him celebrate success. Again, it's a 5-minute snapshot. We've got Pear Deck his favor. Those numbers lie. But then down the novice, you see a lot of words like inconsistent. Less than 80% of students can answer questions such as you're on track. And then less than 80% of students are able to articulate how they will, how that's connection to college, which is less relevant. So, I would rate Jay at novice on this, simply because I have the Pear Deck, but I don't have any other reason to believe that he's consistently doing the things that are in the proficient column. Any other pushes? Anybody convinced? No, this is proficient. I'm going to go on mute and come off mute and share. Disha, we want to hear from you every time. Yeah, we want to hear from you every time. You're not going to be at all our rounds.
Yeah,
what do you got?
So I actually have a push around why you all are using 1B, especially based on the evidence that you are trying to gather and what you're doing. So 1B, like you all said, is all around goals, and that's not what you're looking for. From my understanding, you all are looking for engagement of students, and you're gathering data around number of students that are engaged, what the teacher is doing to engage them. And so I'm just wondering why you all aren't doing 2C, because that would directly align to everything that you all are doing right now. So that's actually my biggest push is like, I think you're trying to create a row for something we already have a row created for.
We had that debate this morning. 2C3, right?
Yeah, I think so. When we created our get rating calendar, Disha, our lead team struggled with like between this one and 2C because we feel like, I think in the moment when we were creating it, we felt like 2C was a very in-person thing and not virtual. I think now that we've experienced virtual instruction, I think we might disagree with that. And so we were like, okay, well, what's most important the first 2 weeks of school? Getting kids like motivated to like engage in online learning. And we viewed 2C as like very much like, I think we thought of it as a very much in-person row, because honestly, it's way farther down on our list for get ratings, because we literally wrote when in-person starts. So I think it's probably us not being fully clear about how virtual learning was going to look our work at the time, in full honesty.
Yeah, but I'm glad you brought it up, Disha, because he's still novice there. So it says right here, teacher notices and responds to the lack of student engagement 80% of the time. Jay doesn't know how many people he has on Pear Deck. If he did and he responded to it, he could actually find himself to proficient. But he doesn't, so we can't assume that. So he's novice, and I think 2C3 is probably better for us to look at when we're talking about whether folks are engaged. And then I think Maggie's right. We're probably going to do a better job of rating this ultimately when we're in person. So Jay's novice here. Who's communicates that to him? Is that you, Matt?
Yeah, but we're not finished with him yet. So we're moving to 3D for lesson. Like, we're not looking at his lesson plans. We're looking, like, you should be able to see evidence of this based off of his execution. Just to give people context, his class ends at 9:30, and we went in at 9:15. So just to give you context, his class ends at 9:30, and we entered at 9:15, and you saw what you saw.
Wait, I want to clarify. We entered at 9:09 and left at 9:15.
Sorry. Thank you, Matt. So 35 minutes had passed when we entered. Okay, so go ahead and get your rating ready. We're going to show them in the next 10 seconds. Same thing, pre-novice, novice, proficient, advanced, exceptional. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Will, you have proficient. What is your evidence of him being proficient? And what section are you looking at?
Looking at row 2, teacher has planned how to introduce the key points. He did go over the key points. Like I said, we came in at a certain point of the lesson. Don't know if it was at the beginning of the lesson, but he did introduce the key points. And then on row 3, the at-bats are aligned to the lesson. We came in on a part of the lesson where the kids were actually getting at-bats. They had to like watch a video and then respond to some questions based on that video, and then that led to the next activity that he went on to in the lesson. So those would be my 2 pieces, or 2 examples.
Riley, you put novice. Why?
The key points were there, but they were just read to students. We came in on a video that was watching that they were supposed to think about the questions. They didn't actually write anything. And then he just talked to kids the entire time through his thinking. There were like Pear Deck slides for kids to respond, but he didn't actually make them respond to certain things. We have no data on students, so it's not no action or no attempt made, but it's definitely not proficient.
Bell, he's your direct report, and you gave him novice. What would your pushes be for him?
I gave him proficient.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why did you say proficient?
So he's introduced the key points. The video was there. So part of that was higher order questions. He's got 5 questions there that are guiding them through to make sure key points. He's stamping them. He's doing a we do with them. So he's actually, and then releasing them to independent practice. And then I think where he falls short is the actual monitoring of like the data. But that's the only part that I feel like he fell short in for this portion.
I gave him novice because I think after 35 minutes, you should be past key points. Honestly, I think if you're just now getting the key points 35 minutes into the lesson, unless you're doing like maybe they're exploring everything first and then getting to them, which maybe that's what he's doing. Also, even during the we do, he just told kids the answer. He isn't going to pause the kids time to do the multiple choice. He's just like, okay, let's look at this, and it's just talking. I don't feel like, personally, I saw evidence of at-bats. I saw evidence of him just talking at kids. Other thoughts?
Here's a helpful strategy, right? So go over to the advanced and look at what a teacher who's advanced with key points is doing. They're asking certain questions. 90% of the students are engaging. So then you go over to proficient. There's a few questions, and I think that's got to be the indicator here, is that he doesn't actually ask questions about the key points. And so Maggie's right.
So Matt, we just rated Jay novice in 2 categories as a lead team. So what would your be? It was effective when next time try be for him?
I'm trying to think of the effective when I think next time is he's got to script out like timestamps and hold himself to it. So he needs to set a timer. It's going to be my push for him, and stop talking. And then it was effective when I honestly don't have something. I'm going to have to think through that.
Matt, I'll give you some help with that. You don't have to do it now. His content is good. He knows his content. It's just something's gotten in the way of him being timely.
Yeah, that was a longer video. I'm going to be really honest, but yeah.
And I think the stop talking, Matt, is just you need to pause and ask kids questions and have them respond, right? He actually planned out the questions. But instead of having kids respond to them, he just talks through all them. I think it's effective when you plan on questions. Next time, try having kids come off mute to answer those questions. Okay. It's almost 9:30, so our 9:30 person is actually Como. So, Riley, can you add us to Como's line? And then Taylor, what time do you want to come back?
Let's go back to Blue Jeans at 35.
35.
Melissa has it right. Deanna Martinez, you had it right. I got you. Miguel, August 24th, that was right. Briseida got it right. There are 55 people in Pear Deck and 77 people on. That means you need to get into Pear Deck. The code is in the top right corner. Jocelyn's getting it right. Good job. Jason's getting it right. Lexi has it right. Leslie has it right. I'm missing responses from 17 people. So you need to go to the homework channel and look for the homework. Now I'm gonna have fun. Casey, it's wrong. Fabiola, it's wrong. Leslie Gomez, it's wrong. Deanna Jimenez, yours is right. Cynthia, yours is right. Kimberly, yours is right. Katya, yours is wrong. Lizeth, yours is wrong. So I have 63 people in Pear Deck, and there are 78 people here. I need you to get on Pear Deck. Kevin Valencia, yours is wrong. Alexis, yours is wrong. Christopher Bautista, yours is wrong. Julio, yours is wrong. Jason, yours is wrong. Maria V, yours is wrong. David, yours is wrong. Melissa, yours is correct. Alfonso, yours is wrong. Nancy, yours is wrong. Kobe, Nancy Gomez, yours is wrong. Alexis, go to the homework channel in the ELA team. So go to the ELA team and go to the homework channel. That's what it says in the directions. Oh, which Jason? Hold on. I have to scroll back down. So if you're not in, you need to go to the ELA team. There you go, Katya. Lizeth, yours is wrong. Fix it. Kevin V, yours is wrong. Fix it. Jason Morales, fix it. There you go, Maria. David Orozco, yours is correct. Nancy Gomez, go to the homework channel in the ELA teams and fix it. So you need to go to the homework channel in the ELA team. So I'm scrolling down. Kobe, fix it. Samara, you need to fix yours. Miguel Rodon, yours is correct. Jacob Reyes, you need to fix yours.
Mrs.
Nancy
Kamal,
Laredo, yours is incorrect.
I think Julio had a question. His hand was up.
Is his hand still up? Jared Espinosa, fix it. Brian Garcia Catalan, fix it. Christina Maya, yours is correct. Jocelyn Martinez, yours is correct. Pedro, you need to fix yours. Jason Gonzalez, yours is correct. You might have to refresh it.
I never got into the class.
Dang it. Well, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Maggie. It looks like Maggie used the Blue Jeans chat to ask for a couple more minutes, but it's too late now. Oh. Learning which chats to use.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to hang up in this class, but it's not letting me. Okay, there was 84 people in the class, and she had at the highest point had there was 82 people in the class, and when I texted her, she had 63 people in Pear Deck, and they were all responding. Now their answers were not correct necessarily, as you saw.
Great. All right, let's take about 45 seconds. Again, I posted 2C for y'all. I posted the 2 rows, level of student engagement and responds to level of student engagement. So take about a minute, be ready to shoot your ratings. About 15 more seconds. All right, 3, 2, 1, shoot. We're all over the map. Will, I can't see you.
Will didn't get to see the class.
Oh, well, then I shouldn't see you. All right, Sarah, I'm going to start with you. You've got a 2, which is novice. Tell us why.
Going by the numbers, it says all students are engaged less than 80% of the time. And so the engagement at the beginning was 71%, and then at the highest it was 77%. So I didn't see it hit a number above 80.
Got it. So simple math. Bethany, what did you remind us what you rated, and then similar, your rationale?
I rated a 2 as well. Mine was based on numbers, but also I didn't see any differentiation in how she was trying to engage those students to change their behavior. Was considered just repetitive phrasing instead of trying to find an alternate way to get them engaged.
Gotcha. Maggie, what did you see? Similar things.
I think when you take out the adults, Sarah, from the number, you actually do get 80%. So when you actually subtract the adults, she has 80% of students in Pear Deck and responding. And then she is the do now is like a very compliance do now. It's like go to the homework channel and copy your homework here. Because she's basically trying to force function kids to go to homework channel. And so she's real time saying, yep, you're correct. No, you're not. For kids who are actually engaging and going to the homework channel and copying the homework.
Great. Riley?
I rated 3 because I thought that it wasn't 80%, so I thought the level of engagement was novice, but the responding to the engagement was higher, so it evened out to a 3 for me.
Yep, I was similar with Riley. The response was obviously there. Hard to guess whether the students were engaged in that, but then Pear Deck looked like it got to 80% when you subtract the adults. So I was also at proficient. Disha, pushes, feedback, rating.
Yeah, I agree. It was kind of interesting because the way that I looked at hers, I also looked at setting clear expectations. Because I'm trying to think about the whole row, because she was getting to a point where she was trying to give what to do directions, but not really. And so I agree if we looked at participants in terms of students versus also the adults who were there. I put her in proficient just for rows 2 and 3. But if I was going to include all the rows, I probably would have put her at novice for the whole rubric. And I think that's where this gets tricky is you have to constantly assess on 2C because right now your rating is just on 2 strands versus ultimately you want to make sure she has a rating that captures all of the strands together.
Yep, that makes sense. I think what I'd give Christina a compliment on is I think she's just trying to set clear expectations with what it looks like to find homework, and so I'm going to give her that. But Disha's right. In a week, if kids still can't find their homework, then we need to revisit this. All right, Maggie, take away 3D.
So our class started at 9:30, and we basically went in at 9:30. So look at the row. Okay, this should be, I think, relatively easy. 3, 2, 1. What are you, Taylor? I can't see. Okay, so me and Riley have 0 or who knows, and Sarah and Taylor have 3s. Taylor, why'd you put a 3?
Basically like this, which was I was going against myself and making a massive assumption, but it says the teacher has planned to introduce key points. I'm assuming if she has a 5-minute do now that she's planning to do that, but realistically, it's more like what you all did.
Yeah, I would say there's no evidence about anything right now. I mean, I've seen her lesson plan. I know that these things are in there, but based off what we saw, I don't think we can say that. I don't think we could rate her off the observation. I could rate her off of her lesson plans.
And Maggie, I just want to name, it's actually okay for you to rate her off the lesson plan.
Yeah.
Because, right, like, rows 3 are all about the lesson plan, and so, like, have the agency that you can do that.
Yes. Yeah, and if I was to give her her lesson plans, I would be rating her proficient on her lesson plans, which she kind of already knows. My big push is she needs to up the balloons level in her lesson plans to become advanced. Right now, they're a little too easy because she feels like kids aren't learning virtually. Okay. Our next person is Marina. So either Will or Taylor, can you guys add us to that class? And then come back at 9:50, Taylor?
Yeah, let's do 50. And Will, if you can be the patch-in person, that'd be great.